Hi, everybody, and welcome back to episode number 4. Now, you might have seen me make a video earlier which said episode number 7. Now, I don't know why I did that. I actually thought I had 5 and 6 somewhere in the mix on my hard drive. I've just picked up a new PC, and I've been moving a lot of stuff off my hard drive, so probably got misplaced. So I'll kind of make that up in the coming 48 to 72 hours. But I also wanted to do like a bunch of videos where I kind of read out certain sections of books that I read or I've explored, literature across fiction, nonfiction, philanthropy, anything that I find really useful in my day-to-day activities, whether professionally or personally. Stuff that not only gives me a lot of technical attribution, but also gives me a lot of, how should I put it, a lot of creative adherence to a certain to a certain aspect. So, uh, sorry, to a certain extent. So, it's just one of those lockdown curfew days. Anyway, so this is the book that I wanted to talk to you guys about, and this one is called Superintelligence. It's by Nick Bostrom. Uh, in a nutshell, it basically talks about the evolution of artificial intelligence from the early days to where we are present day. It brings in a lot of derivatives about collective consciousness, how the human race has aspired to be a collective intelligence unit, how intelligence grows in a herd, in a community, and so on. So, this book is fabulous, and it was introduced to me by a really long-time friend of mine a few years ago when I was in Bangalore, and I just got there. I just joined Amazon, and she kind of introduced me to this book and said, "Beam, this is the book for you. I can't take it in, but you should definitely read this." And since that day, I got hooked. And honestly, in the first year when I owned this book, I barely opened it because it wasn't difficult, the language itself, but it is so analytically deep driven that you really need to concentrate on what the author is trying to put across. It's not point and shoot, it's not cookie cutter AI. It's a beautiful combination of AI engineering meets the human element, meets the future prospect to the middle ground where we are now. So I'm just going to read a few sections of the book itself, which I found a little interesting. And I'm going to keep doing this from time to time. So if you want the book, go ahead and order it on Amazon. It's out there. It's called Superintelligence. It's by Nick Bostrom. You'll see the name in the title. First, I'm going to just read the forward that's on the back. So it says, if machine brains one day come to surpass human brains in general intelligence, the fate of our species would depend on the actions of powerful AI. Now, in this profoundly ambitious and original book, Nick Bostrom thoroughly examines what he calls the most essential problems of our time. Can we solve the superintelligence control problem before it's too late? So a little bit of Skynet might be coming and stuff like that. But, that's obvious. That's what the publisher would have made Nick do, kind of put something at the back to just keep you hooked on. Like a really bad web series on one of the OTT platforms. They just put in something in the beginning to make you think, oh, God, it's going to be really good. And then by the time you watch it, it's horrendous. Max Tegmark, a professor of physics at MIT, kind of gave a note. So this is what I like to call a reader note, someone Nick must have offered the book for, to kind of give the first opening remarks. So this superb analysis by one of the world's clearest thinkers tackles one of humanity's greatest challenges. Now, if future superhuman artificial intelligence becomes the biggest event in human history, then how can we ensure that it doesn't become the last? So another one is from Elon Musk. No introductions required there. Founder of SpaceX and Tesla. He's pretty much given his trademark one-line answer, which obviously a lot of us admire him for. A man of action, a man of very few words. So he says it's worth reading, and dots, and then we need to be super careful with AI, right? Clive Cookson from the Financial Times calls his book and says the human civilization is at stake. Definitely one of those media outlets. So, and a professor at Stanford University, part of the AI pioneering division, the guys who kind of worked on this first, Professor Niels Nilsson, says every intelligent person should read this book. Now, let me just get to a certain part in the book where, there was this one term that kind of, just took me by surprise, and I had never heard of this term. And if you ask me the direct definition of that term even now, I wouldn't be able to tell you because that term is called recalitrance. Okay, so if you don't know what recalitrance is, go ahead and just check it out on Google. Recalitrance is something that you want to know before you kind of get into this book. You want to read a little bit about it. So I am right now, I've opened up chapter 4, okay? And this chapter is called The Kinetics of an Intelligence Explosion, okay? So now it basically says, now once machines attain some form of human equivalence in general reasoning ability, how long will it be before they attain radical superintelligence? Now, the author questions, now, will this be a slow, gradual, protracted kind of transition, or will it be sudden and explosive, right? Now, this chapter specifically analyzes the kinetics of the transition to superintelligence as a function of optimization power and system recalitrance. Again, go ahead, take a look at what recalitrance is. I'm not going to tell you what it is. A lot of you people might have heard about this when you guys are doing stuff in neural networks or machine learning, but you guys want to probably read about that if you haven't been introduced to the computer science aspect of that term. So now the next paragraph says timing and speed of the takeoff. Now, given that machines will eventually vastly exceed biology in general intelligence, but that machine cognition is currently vastly narrower than human cognition, one is led to wonder how quickly this usurpation will take place. Now, the question we're asking here must be sharply distinguished from the question we considered in chapter 1 about how far away we currently are from developing a machine with human-level general intelligence. Now, the question here instead is, if and when such a machine is developed, how long will it be from when that machine becomes radically superintelligent? Now, to take note here, one would think that it will take quite a long time until machines reach the human baseline, basically, or one might be agnostic about how long that will take and yet have a strong view that once this happens, the further ascent into stronger superintelligence will be very, very rapid. And just going to go ahead a little bit, and there is a figure here as part of the system capability versus time as to how the system is going to rise from a human baseline to cross over to civilization to strong superintelligence, basically, and time until takeoff duration. So this was chapter 4, and I just basically opened it directly there to read you a small excerpt from that chapter. But if you go back to chapter 1, 2, and 3, Nick in greater detail explains what is slow takeoff, medium takeoff, what is a crossover, what is collective superintelligence, and so on. So let me just quickly find that one part. And if you guys want to follow me on LinkedIn, please do that. I have a couple of articles out there on superintelligence, collective superintelligence, just from a very human angle as to what it actually means. And I try to put it as simple words as possible. So this is page number 65, chapter number 3. It's the definition of collective superintelligence, right? Now, another form of superintelligence is a system achieving superior performance by aggregating large numbers of smaller intelligences. Now, a system composed of a large number of smaller intellects, such that the system's overall performance across many very general domains vastly outstrips that of any current cognitive system. So this was Nick Bostrom's Superintelligence. I wanted to read a few passages from it. Go ahead, order the book, take a look at it for your own self. It's a great book. It's a great read. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm going to be going through it again over this weekend. So again, thanks a lot for watching the videos and putting up with me as usual. Like and subscribe to the channel. Leave some comments. Maybe there's a book out there that you guys might want me to read out of. Let me know what that is. If you can see behind me there, I made that temporary bookshelf to just get some books that I really love out of my bigger collection. So I have some here. I have some down here in my desk. So I'll just keep trying to bring up as many books as possible and reading excerpts, stuff that I find interesting, maybe stuff you might find interesting. So stay safe, stay at home, do some reading, get some exercise in, spend some time with your family. Take care, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for your support, and Godspeed.